Lots going on in world politics. I've got Sasha Star with me, and I'll see who else joins us as well. A lot of people are talking about the tariffs and what's going on with the tariffs, particularly the tariffs surrounding Brazil and all along those lines. And of course, we've got other political things that are taking place as well, and all along that kind of way. So, definitely, as I'm looking at the news, we're hearing a lot of conversations around the politics of tariffs. And I know that that was the conversation earlier today, and I've got Jacoby joining us as well. And I know that earlier him and Nick were having a whole conversation around what's going on with tariffs and whether the tariffs are being effective. And last time I checked, I think it was just one maybe tariff agreement, and that's with Vietnam. Even though I think Nick was trying to say that an agreement had been placed out there with the UK as well. But the only one I'm hearing is with Vietnam, and there might be others negotiating, and we'll see what happens in Brazil also. So what's your take on all of this tariff noise and everything like that, Sasha? And maybe Jacoby's got some thoughts as well, but I'll start off with you. What's the thoughts around the tariffs and whether they're going to be effective or not?
I think that the tariffs is a poker game. There's no substance behind it because no country so far is coming to Mar-a-Lago to kiss Trump's ass and ask him for some forgiveness and help or anything like this. Because he was supposed to, when he delayed tariffs 90 days, there was to be 90 deals. Like every day should be one deal concluded. How many were concluded? One or two, and that's it. So I think there will be a huge backlash on Trump and the United States about tariffs from all countries who are now uh, they're holding back and they are pretending to uh, negotiate, talk, and to do anything. All they're using this time to make new alliances among themselves without the United States, and I think it will be economic catastrophe for the United States.
Joey, what's your take on this tariffs and everything? And I did hear one other topic that was going on, which is this notion that after the bill had been passed, that there is some push for people to get another bill. So there's already a push for Trump to get another bill passed, and all along those lines. He had a difficult time with the first bill, and I guess there's already people that are asking him to put together another bill before the end of the summer, or maybe even the end of the year. So, what's your thoughts around this notion that we might get another bill, and we're not even sure what the impact is going to be of the first bill?
Another bill for what? What I mean, the first bill is trash. I don't know what the second bill you're speaking about. Um,
Yeah, there's like a push to get him to do another bill because I guess they don't feel that they did enough damage with the first bill. So there is a notion about trying to get him to come up with another bill to go in front of the Senate and Congress with it as well.
yeah, like I said, I can't speak on what that second bill may be. I don't know what that is. What the horrible bill that they just put out. I mean, that one, uh, it was just again, it was consolidating a lot of the power up under him. It's also bad financially for just about everybody if you're not a millionaire, because it is a transfer of wealth. The same thing that they complain about that taxes are in the first place. They deregulated a lot of stuff, which is horrible. But yeah, it's a horrible bill that they put out. And like I said, I don't know what the second one is in terms of tariffs. It just doesn't make any sense. We can understand why he did bankrupt or go bankrupt with the casino. How you bankrupt the casino? Well, we know now because he is so scattershot in his ideas. Either you're trying to bring back manufacturing or you're not. So if you're saying tariffs are to bring back manufacturing, and then you say, "Oh well, no, it's a negotiation tool, so we can get a better tariff situation," that doesn't do anything for manufacturing. One thing that has dropped in terms of the unemployment rate, or has gone up in terms of unemployment rate, is manufacturing. We've lost more manufacturing jobs. Manufacturing is going to AI and robots. but they don't want to admit or even say that. Um, but on top of that, yeah, they don't know what they're doing with the tariffs. They're saying all these random things because they're talking points. Um, and Trump isn't going to stick with the tariffs. Because he doesn't know how to negotiate with the tariffs. I mean, he's just saying arbitrary numbers. This administration is horrible.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of horrible things going on, and apparently his approval rating is down and all along those lines. And I know some people will be shocked about this, but apparently after the 4th of July, there's been a number of studies that are saying that his approval rating has been dipping and all along those lines, ranging between 40 and 45%, depending on the sources. So definitely including some places where you would expect he would have high approval rating. He's doing all right in Alabama, where his approval rating is at 62%. But in Alaska, which we know is where Sarah Palin was and everything, I think she still is, his approval rating is at 49%. And in Arizona, it's at 50%. And in Arkansas, it's at 61%. And that's where there's definitely some conservative wings in that area. But in California, he's way down to 33%. In Colorado, he's at 39%. And in Connecticut, he's down to 40%. And that's just some of the states. I also saw that Delaware, he's down to 36%. So his approval rating is up in some of the states that you would expect it to be in, where there is strong right wing and maybe even MAGA support. Because I see that he's got a approval rating like 53% in Florida and about 46% in Georgia, but he's down to a whopping 26% in Hawaii. I guess the folks in Hawaii are not big fans of his, but about 66% in Idaho, and that's just some of them. But in Illinois, he's down to 37%. So it looks like he's got a mixed bag of approval rating, but a lot of the MAGA states are ones where he's doing fairly well in terms of his popularity and all along those lines, including Kentucky, where he's at 59% approval rating. But looks like a lot of these are MAGA states where he is being seen as a kind of like a good figure and everything. We know that there was those anti no king marches. It looks like there are going to be some more on next week. It looks like July 17th. There are going to be several anti Donald Trump protests planned nationwide for July 17th, which will be a week from today. So, what is our thoughts around this notion of these protests? Will they do any good? Will they do anything in terms of impacting his administration? But it does look like there is talk of there being more protests on the 17th. So, what do you gentlemen think about these protests coming a week from today?
They have insulated Trump. So they're only going to show him good and happy news that everybody loves him. So that is, the whole emperor has no clothes. That's where we are. So they're not going to show him or actually get him that information because there was a Republican senator or a Republican. I just actually looked at it. There was a Republican House member, I think. Well, let me see if I can pull up that article again. Um, they are upset at chatbots. There's a Missouri Attorney General claims chatbots are undermining Trump's record. Basically, they're mad that they feel that chatbots are reporting bad news on Trump. When you get to a point where you're arguing with a chatbot that the news about the individual is bad because you hear it from everywhere else. Yeah, they've insulated the people. It is a cult. It is just basically trying to treat him like an emperor. So they don't care until Trump cares or until it affects them. They don't care. People are going to protest, and I'm glad they're protesting. I'm glad more people are probably going to protest the No Kings rally or at No Kings rallies this time. But for Trump and them, they don't care. They've got their bill that went through. They can do whatever they want right now, and that's what they're thinking.
Yeah. What's your take on that in terms of the No King protests and these other protests that are going on? You think it'll do anything beneficial, Sasha, or you think that it's much ado about nothing?
Well, I think it's a positive development because people have to listen and hear about what's wrong with this bill and not just to come to the protest and say we protest against what. You have to educate people. You have to explain what is exactly in that bill, which will make the situation for the United States much worse. First of all, it's that it will increase the debt of the United States, which will go well over $40 trillion. So this is, I don't know what is an unsustainable level. Maybe 40 trillion is, maybe it's 45, maybe it's 50, maybe it's 100. I don't know how many trillions you have to accumulate in debt, so it will negatively affect everybody. And it will, but I don't know what will be the right number to do so. Um, I'd like to mention a few other things which are important for international politics. First of all, last night, there was in Ukraine a city of Chernovtsi, which was never ever was attacked by Russians. And last night, yes, it was. So there is no single city in all Ukraine that has never been bombed by Russian terrorist attacks. So if Trump believes that he's a chosen, if he thinks in his connection to God, so what is he doing? The Republican Party hasn't um, offered even $1 since Trump became to power. They're still using sporadically the budget which was approved by Biden and his administration. And that comes to the end probably this month. And Trump's administration never approved even $1 of help to Ukraine. So this is his play with Mr. Putin. Is this all arrangement that he get upset with Mr. Putin, and now he loves Mr. Putin? All this, it's good for clowns in circus. That's where they have to perform this thing, not in front of millions and millions of people around the world.
Yep, that makes sense. Hey, Jacoby and Sasha, there's a major industry that I'm somewhat surprised, but maybe not totally because they do have some major Republican donors and all along those lines that is back in that big, beautiful bill. And they're saying that it could be a windfall for them. But apparently, the American Trucking Association, and we know trucking is a major part of what keeps the economy moving in North America, and particularly I know even in Canada, y'all had stuff with the truckers and everything, but even in the United States is an important industry. But they came down and were praising the bills by saying, and they said by passing this bill, Congress averted the largest tax increase in our nation's history. Neither the economy nor our supply chain, which have survived such a travesty. This is our money, not the government's, and truckers know better than anyone how to reinvest it to promote prosperity, according to Mr. Spear, who is looks like the president of one of these organizations. Chris Spear is the ATA president, which is the American Trucking Association and everything. And he said motor carriers, the overwhelming majority of which are small businesses that operate 10 trucks or fewer, will now have the ability to plan for the future, continue to provide good paying jobs, and upgrade equipment. We commend congressional leaders for recognizing the fact and crafting this tax relief package that supports the 8.5 million Americans who work throughout trucking. So I guess the truckers are backing at least that part of the bill. So what is our thoughts around the truckers kind of coming out and being in support of what they think is going to help them, even though we know that there might be other parts of it that could hurt the trucking industry. But I just wanted
So, so he parroted the same talking point that the Republican Party parroted. He said that this would be the largest tax increase, blah 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 blah.
basically that's what it looks
That
like.
answers your question right there. Do I think that it would have been the largest tax increase? No, I don't. It's a talking point. Everything that Chris Spears said was in support of Trump, and I'm wondering why. Because again, these individuals, until it affects them, it's not. They're not going to change. For example, do you they already talked about Mattel is already saying that toy prices are going to jump for Christmas this year.
Mhm.
Yeah. Did the trucker talk about that? Did he say anything about that?
No, he
No.
didn't bring that up and everything.
He's delivering those things. That's supposedly the whole thing. So if you can't deliver those things because people aren't ordering them because the toy prices have gone up, guess what, Mr. Trucker guy? I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. So parroting Trump's talking points at this moment just it's sad. It's just a telltale sign that rather than actually looking at what's really happening from the taxing, from the toys going up, the tariffs causing other things to go up, let's just be real about it. We're in for
Is it possible that trackers could raise prices what they charge manufacturers for delivery of whatever they produce because the cost of the produce, like toys, for example, is going higher. So trackers could make a point that well, these goods cost now much more than before, and therefore our prices also will go up as a result. And there is no competition. There's nobody can turn down trackers. If that's what they want, they have to oblige.
exactly. You're right, Sasha. So, I mean,
So then we are going into spiral that it will go like this, and there's no end to it.
and that's where we are. And that's the sad part is that stuff is going to get expensive. You've
Yeah.
got now the trucker saying this. Just wait. You've got the dock workers that'll come out too. And how's Trump going to negotiate with the dock workers? Because that bill is going to they're going to see what the truckers are doing. Yeah, as you said, we're now in a spiral.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
but
that, speaking of that
dockers are
spiral,
in better positions than trackers because the dogs, that's it. There's nowhere to go.
yep. Speaking of that spiral, and we mentioned it on World Edition. You weren't there earlier, but you did mention Mattel and everything. But I'd love to hear you and Sasha's thoughts around the fact that Mattel and Barbie like to be politically correct. So they have now come out with a Barbie that has diabetes, complete with the diabetes treatment and everything like that. So, what is our thoughts? Is this a case of being too politically correct, or maybe it's just a good thing because we know that people need to identify with whatever they're going through, and there might even be a special needs Barbie later on.
Next,
But they
next
definitely,
they will come with the Barbie brain dead and try to cure the Barbie which has no brain.
they're, they're going to come up with all kinds of different Barbies and everything like that.
Well, the cool thing about what Barbie does and all, one of the things, so the Barbie movie was great, first and foremost, because it actually tried to attack the issues that the actual doll itself brought about, because it was a positive and a negative. So, and and the release of the doll that has diabetes, I thought that was a great thing. It's the same thing that Sesame Street does.
Was it the diabetes 1 or 2? Which one?
Diabetes
I
one,
froze. I think.
it was type one.
1 or 2?
It was type one,
Type 1. Oh, I see. So she would need to take insulin, so you have to buy
and they come with an insulin package.
it comes. Okay, wonderful.
Yep. What were you saying, Joe?
Insulin is coming from Canada because it is.
Oh, I'm sorry, I froze. But I'm back. But yeah. So Barbie and Sesame Street do roughly about the same thing in terms of introducing different elements. Sesame Street does a fun job with it because they're dealing with monsters. They don't actually have people, so people can't really judge. People are very judgmental, and like Barbie has a tough hurdle to climb because
Did he freeze again? He must
Yeah,
have froze
looks like
again.
it's frozen.
Looks like he froze again. Hopefully he'll come back and give us some more Barbie lessons and everything like that. What's going on with the ceasefire in Israel? Since it is world politics and it's us here and everything like that. So what's going on with this ceasefire notion and everything like that?
I don't know. Netanyahu was in the United States, had meetings with Trump, and now I think something going on in Qatar, maybe. But you know what? I lost track of it. I really don't understand what's the latest in that regards.
Gotcha. That's fair enough. And
I
everything.
think I'm back.
You're back.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Um, I get. I mean, just to finish the thought on the Barbie and Sesame Street thing, the great thing that they do is introduce these different elements of life into our ethos, especially dealing with young kids, because it helps young kids to understand that there are these different elements and differences among people that allow them to accept those differences. From Sesame Street, introducing a character with autism, so kids need to understand and how to be able to deal with and work with other individuals that aren't like them. Same thing when Barbie introduced a character in a wheelchair. Um, Giving aspirations to young girls about, hey, you can be this, or this. I mean, yes, again, that's that double edged sword, which I think the Barbie movie did a great job of expressing and trying to get people to understand that. But yeah, Barbie introducing a doll with type 1 diabetes is great because it gets people again to understand that there are other elements of life or other individuals that are dealing with particular things that you may not have to deal with, but you've got to be empathetic towards. You've got to understand this individual may have diabetes, but that doesn't make them somebody crazy or strange or anything. No, it's just another individual that just has something going on in their life that you don't have going on in yours. So it's I like what Barbie does with that. I thoroughly enjoy that, and that's another reason why I enjoy the movie so much because it tried its best to break down the stigma that Barbie itself created by giving a very unrealistic look on what beauty was around a woman and around what young girls should see themselves as. So it tried to break that down and separate itself from that. So yeah, I mean, Barbie is a good and a bad thing, but Barbie itself, the movie, tried to break that down.
It
Do
tried
you
to
think
break.
the next development in Barbie's story will be a next movie where she is changing sex?
I mean, uh, that could happen. I mean, and honestly, I think Barbie has released they they may have released a gender fluid doll. I have to look that up, but I mean, the thing is, we get hung up on these things, regardless if somebody changes sex or not. The whole purpose behind not only Barbie but Sesame Street and the monsters and all, is that somebody has your life is not somebody else's life. You should be able to appreciate and understand their lives and to be empathetic of their lives and actually just accept who they are. And that's Sesame Street. Accept others. Don't try and judge because they do something that you may not. If you don't want to change sex, don't change sex. But if somebody does, it's okay. That they're doing it for their health, their mental health. So accept them and push and cheer them on as they do that because for example, if you look at statistics wise, right now the transgender community is the number one suicide, the community that has the highest suicide rate. And if and one of the biggest reasons isn't because they decide they have gender dysphoria. That's not really the big reason. The big reason is that individuals will not accept them. Individuals choose to attack, demonize, and say they are the worst thing in the world. They're not. They're beautiful people. They should be accepted just like everybody else. But the problem is, again, we get to that point where, that section of society, those group of individuals get attacked, demonized relentlessly for just being themselves. It's a matter of just letting them be, accepting them for who they are.
And by the way, there is one that was put out 3 years ago. So apparently, Mattel's first transgender Barbie was designed after Laverne Cox, who was an actress and
Okay.
LGBTQ actress activist, and she got her own Barbie back in May of 2022. Is when I'm seeing this article out of CBS and a couple of other news
And like I
outlets.
said, again, Barbie is a double-edged sword. Barbie created a fictional view that harmed young girls and women. That's something that they have to still battle with and overcome. And again, the movie itself, I love the fact that it tried to battle and point out this is the problem that we had with what the thing we created. But now we're trying to make good on that. We're trying to figure out a way to work through that with still being Barbie, but changing it and making sure that everybody's accepted. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter who you are. It's just be accepted. Be who you want to be. You're beautiful who you are. So
Yeah, that's Barbie, and there might be other kinds of Barbies as put together. One with the type A Barbie and all of that. There was a birthrights ruling that came down. So apparently, the federal judge issued a new nationwide block against Trump's orders seeking to deal with birthright citizenship. So that is saying it came down today. So a federal judge agreed Thursday to issue a new nationwide block against President Donald Trump's executive order seeking to end birthright citizenship. So we'll see whether this stays upheld or what goes on in that case. But for right now, he's been blocked. So any takes on this whole birthright citizenship and whether it should be blocked?
it should be blocked. There should be no question. Birthright citizenship is in the Constitution. This again goes back to what I've said about this administration. If you have melanin in your skin, they're coming after you. And they're creating ways to come after you. Birthright citizenship is that's what Trump is trying to do. We're going after the criminals. What? Anybody who has brown skin is a criminal to you? That's what this administration is. It's about being this is why I say we've got to be honest. We've got to stop sugarcoating, sanitizing. This sanitization of what Trump has been saying his whole career and even during the actual elections, that's what's put us in this point. People love the fame. People loved he was on their team and this and that. No, you're sanitizing what he's saying. He's saying some very racist. The dude during the campaign 2014, he was retweeting white supremacists. He was literally doing that. And you know what people did? Oh, well, he's joking. While people were protesting him with all the riots and the protests that were happening, dealing with BLM, dealing with all the other stuff that were happening right outside the White House. You know what Trump did? He retweeted a dude yelling "white power" on a golf course, on a golf cart. And you know what Trump said? He's a great American. Yeah, okay, the dude yelling white power, you calling that dude a great American. But no, that got taken down. Oh, Trump was just joking. He was just, no, we just got to call it for what it is and stop sanitizing.
Well,
Right now, we're in a situation.
speaking of sanitizing, it looks like Elon Musk ran into a problem as well. And I know y'all were talking about chatbots earlier, but they just had to scrub some inappropriate posts after his Grok chat box made some anti-Semitic comments and everything. So Elon Musk artificial intelligence company said Wednesday that he's taken down inappropriate posts made by its Grok chatbot, which appeared to include anti-Semitic comments that praised Adolf Hitler. So Grok was developed by Musk XAI and pitches an alternative to woke AI interactions from rival chatbots like Google's Gemini or OpenAI's ChatGPT. So Musk said Friday that Grok has been improved significantly and users should notice a difference. But since then, Grok has shared several anti-Semitic posts, including the trope that Jews run Hollywood, and denied that such a stance could be described as Nazism. So what's our thoughts around this other man that's going to be possibly running his own political party and everything like that? But he did have this kind of Hitler praise or something along those lines in his latest chatbot.
That's really strange. I read something about that, but I couldn't understand actually what is a role of Musk and if it's on his resource and why he's not deleting all this garbage. The idea that the Jews are running Hollywood, if they're not, it's a lie. Now, if they are running Hollywood, then it's a fact of life. You have to accept it. And where it all goes, it's hard to say. So, is it good thing that they're running Hollywood, or is it it's a bad thing that they're running Hollywood? I really don't see the it's same thing. Says that German billionaires are running now artificial intelligence, like Peter Thiel, Musk, and there are enough all these billionaires here and there. So, is it a good thing that Germans are running artificial intelligence in the United States, or it's a bad thing? It's hard to say. Nobody knows whether it's a good or bad. By the way, there was a question that uh, in certain cases it was discovered or almost discovered or never discovered. It depends who you are talking. The German could have been the first language of the United States, not English. And I was looking into it because it was kind of interesting. So why German never became the first language of United States? Well, the reason is that most people in the United States, they spoke English. They didn't speak German, they spoke English. What's actually happened is that in the state of Pennsylvania, the third of the population 200 years ago, they spoke German. So there was a question to put on the legislature to publish all whatever they're publishing in English, also in German, to help the Germans who know German better than English, or maybe those who just came and don't know English, or whatever. And it never went to the bloc to vote. Why? Because they started to think that if we will do that, then maybe Dutch people would say, okay, publish something in Dutch for us too, because we like Dutch and we understand better Dutch. Oh, Italians may say, hey, come on, publish something in Italian, we enjoy Italian. And probably Spaniards would say, and all people from Latin America and Central America, they say, how come you publish something in German and you don't publish anything in Spanish? Publish in Spanish right away, otherwise we will kill all of you. So here we go in a situation that is all lunatics promoting that German could have been first language of United States. Never. It had never had any chance whatsoever.
Hmm. That would be interesting. I know that there had also been talk about even with you come back to birth, the whole notion to be uh, the first ones to go because I don't think that they were actually citizens at the time that they were born. Because I think the first wife, if I remember correctly, Ivanka, had not been naturalized at the time that Donald and others had been born here in the state. But correct me if I'm wrong about that and everything like that, because I have heard that come up in conversations.
I know that a lot of Russian mafia people, they were sending their wives and girlfriends to have a birth of their babies in United States, counting on the fact that they will be automatically U.S. citizens, and therefore at some point maybe they will bring their fathers to United States too. So if that's no longer the case, they will stop sending them to have a birth in the United States. Yes.
Sharif, what time is it in Bangladesh? It's got to be. So what time is it where you are and everything, and what you got going on in your neck of the woods? I know we were talking about tariffs earlier with you. So how are things going with the tariffs out of Bangladesh? Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's at 3:30 a.m. in Bangladesh. I'm just working, and that time I saw that you have your invitations, and that's why I joined in this program. Bangladesh actually just taking preparations for the new political government. I think in between 5 to 6 months we have our elections, and yes, there are a lot of rumors and lot of things happening from India, especially the Indian media. They are heavily sharing the misinformation and disinformation about Bangladesh. That Bangladesh, definitely Bangladesh has a lot of Muslims, and most of our people actually believe in Islam and all of the activities, but they are not fundamentalist. But this kind of propaganda and these things happening through Indian media, but hopefully, but much people. I have many good friends in India. They can understand what's going on. But I think that the next elections will be the game changers, because I said previously that we have our previous two political party. One is Bangladesh Awami League and one is Bangladesh Nationalist Party. The previous government, they actually banned by the present government because they do a lot of killings. Around 1400 young people they died because of this riot, and many people injured. So I think that the next elections will be the most important access for Bangladesh, for democracy, for global relationship, for policy, for economical aspects and everything. This time is very interesting. USA definitely playing a major role right now, because what I understand, the previous government activities USA do not want. Yes, much people do not like the activities, so the last government they did not survive. The same way, the new government they have to make a very good friendship with the Western world, especially this Europe and North America and all of the things. And by this way, hopefully, we will get a very stable government. But after this, even though some ceasefire fire happening in South Asia, in Iran and Israel and all of the places, but uh, because of these immigration issues, because of this uh, tariff and all of the things. Uh, Good point. The Asian community they are uniting the political stability and everything happening. And bad point, what will happen tomorrow, we do not know. So yeah, we need more good relationship with USA in terms of policy and in terms of business.
That makes a lot of sense. So definitely getting that support and everything. You got your World Talent Showcase, and I know that that's supposed to be more like a pitch contest with a lot of different businesses, kind of like talking about their startups and stuff like that, as opposed to the talent shows that I think Nick was looking at and everything. But just tell us about some of the. Have you recorded two shows or just one show so far, Dr. Sharif, and how are those shows going, and
Yeah.
who are some of the people that have been featured?
Yeah, just recently it was interesting that one of the person he want to run as a governor of California. His name is Jolton. So Jolton, I think he's a popular politician, or he has some impact in media and in startup industries. So he is planning to run for a governor in California. And besides that, he have very interesting idea about universal basic income, about the solution for housing solutions, about healthcare and longevity issues, also developing a more strong economic impact in California. He believed that Californian economy will be number one soon because of AI and all of the innovations. So this is last session more like political sessions. How a governor think about California, and it can be a good example for Bangladesh politics, because Bangladesh politicians they can take it as an example. And Jolton is not the main extreme politicians like this Democrat and Republicans. He may more like a innovator, scientist, journalist, and now he is politicians. So I think the sessions was very productive and very informative.
Sounds good and everything like that, and sounds like wonderful. Hey, Jatovi, what did you when you went down? I know you had to cover the cricket match and everything like that, and I don't know who won it and everything down there in Texas. But how was the Texas political landscape? I know you were there for work purposes, so you might not have gotten a sense of Texas in its political landscape. But I have not been to Texas. I've been to California. No, I've been to California. I've been to Nevada. Never been to California or Texas. But what your sense of Texas from your limited visit during your weekend visit in that area in terms of you observed?
I mean, I can't answer that one because I usually keep to the politics on here and everywhere else. I mean, well, here I don't really take it to the different spots. I mean, I'm still in Texas right now. Yeah, I couldn't answer that one because I haven't
Okay.
talked to anybody about politics.
Exactly, I got you. How long is that supposed to be going on? Because is that competition going till this weekend or next weekend?
Till Sunday.
Till Sunday. Got you. Cool. And is who are the teams competing?
Well, so it's a few different teams. I mean, it's actually pretty cool. So I mean, people can always check it out, but I try and keep this stuff separate.
Okay, fair enough. But like I said, it was we do have people, including Doc, who's in Bangladesh, and he knows cricket as well. So I know we sometimes keep it separate, but I know even Steve talks tennis and things on those lines. So that's why I was going there in that conversation. But yeah, we can keep it separate and everything. I don't know. Does Bangladesh have a good cricket team, Doc?
You're talking about Bangladesh cricket activities.
Yes. How y'all doing in cricket?
Today, Bangladesh lose against Sri Lanka. It's called T20. Bangladesh right now the cricket I think performance not so good, but our women football they are playing very good football right now. This is very inspirational. Bangladesh is a Muslim country and our women playing very good. They take their positions in Asian football. Uh, but I want to say cricket is very, very popular in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and all of the countries. So, yeah, maybe this is bad time. Bangladesh passing. So hopefully, in few months, Bangladesh will come to the form and they will achieve more win and all of the things. But I think that maybe from our research center we can merge is cricket and baseball. Maybe we can play the new things with USA and with South Asia. So that is one of the things. Jatavi, today I just finished a write up, a book. It's geognostic simulation hypothesis, gonostic simulation hypothesis. The main theme of this book is that the world is look like a game. It's a game theory, like what you are developing, the games and all of the things. So do you interested to write books or white paper for your company or we are discussing about these implementations, your projects in emerging economy. What's your thoughts on that particular point?
I mean, the uh, the idea that the world is a game is, I mean, yes, in terms of writing white pages and stuff like that on what I'm doing, yes, that I mean, honestly, I need to do more of that, truthfully. But yeah, in terms of the notion that the world is a game, I completely like because truthfully, that is what people. It's not the fact that it is a game. What it is, well, in my view, what it is that people are always looking for an escape, and people want something different than where they are. So to be it a game, to be it a book, to be it a poem, a song, or whatever, people are looking for something other than what they have because we've gotten into the idea that what we have personally isn't good enough because we've seen what others have rather than hey I'm it's not a matter of being satisfied but that's the best term to use in that um, but yeah we should never be content but the issue is okay instead of creating this fantasy that isn't a reality. And that's a problem with social media is that we create it based on, oh, well, my best friend has this, or this person I see is like this. And it's not true. It's these YouTubers and all this other stuff, all that's pretty much doctored and put up there to make you believe that it's better than what they are. So it's always the keeping up the keeping up with the Joneses or let me come up with this fantasy, and that fantasy has made me feel bad about my world. So because my world, I need to make something out of it. So I create this game about what my world is. So yeah, I mean, the idea, like I said, the world being a game to people, I can agree with and I can see.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So I write a full book on this monistic simulation hypothesis, and this is actually not only the religious idea. I find the physics also has some strong engagement on that particular point, and we have to identify that how we play the role in this game, and how we can overcome from these situations. And uh, and uh, I believe that the more people can understand the life is like a game or the game show or the video games, I think they can identify they have their own limitations in this game, right? Even though I'm in powerful positions or whatever it is, and then be they can their sympathy and empathy will grow for the other teammates in these plays in these games, and they can be a very good things. Uh, I saw that you have a strong engagement with political views and all of the things. So it's not create any problem, or you have any engagement with any political parties, or it's create any
I mean,
problem.
so yes, I do have some engagement with some political figures, especially state and local officials that I deal with, especially dealing because the stuff that I want to do or the stuff that I believe should happen, um, doing it on without being involved with or at least discussing with some political officials like state senators or state representatives or even local representatives. It makes it hard. For example, wanting to build a facility that's going to benefit or wanting to build a convention. This is one thing that I'm working on right now. The convention that I've still got to call you. I promise we're going to talk, but still putting together the pieces. But putting together a convention that focuses on trying to not only teach people in the workforce how to move up to a different level of their own workforce. So going from say a level one manager to a top tier manager managing a whole region. Trying to teach people their pitch decks and all the other things, giving them the tool set and the opportunity to meet those individuals. So building a convention around that, and then taking that convention and actually building it so it's not just affecting those top tier individuals. So my goal with the convention is, hey, look, we're going to build this convention, bring these individuals in, and then we're going to take those companies and say, hey, companies, look, you see there's a workforce here. Let's take that workforce. Let's see if you can build off that workforce that's here because you can build a company here and hire these people that are all here and put them in. So so that idea or convention style isn't really done because a lot of conventions come in and hey, we're going to take money, we're going to do whatever we're going to do, and then we leave out. My goal isn't to leave out. My goal is to plant roots and to be able to plant those roots and actually build from where we are. I've got to negotiate with the state and local officials and have them involved. So dealing with political figures and my political biases and ideas, um, even though I get into the arguments here and there are lines that I will not cross. If there is an individual who's really, like, if there is a state rep who is really, bigoted in particular ways and stuff like that, yes, those are individuals that I usually won't deal with. However, if someone did vote for Trump, because I completely am against that, but again, that isn't a line that is a barrier. It's just one of those things that, I feel, hey, look, if I can get this individual to start to see what the positives on this side is, the people that Trump says are enemies, if I can get that person who is a Trump or a Republican, because I think the thing is, we've gotten into a point where we consider each other enemies, and that's a whole Trump idea. I mean, yeah, it started before him, but he's given it a megaphone and actually, hammered that in that, hey, I hate the Democrats. I hate this. I can't deal with that. But I think Republicans or conservatives who have a different viewpoint aren't. I mean, they just have a different viewpoint, and we
Different
all
viewpoints
want
and
the same
everything like
thing.
that. And I've
But it's
actually got
just a
to
matter
end
of
us a little
trying
bit
to. I was just going to
early.
finish this real quick thought, though, Mark. It's we all want that same end goal. We're starting from the same point, but in between is what we're arguing about. So if I can show a different view and get him or her to empathize with, the viewpoint that I'm trying to point to and the pathway that I'm trying to take to get to the same point they're getting to, then I figured, yeah, it's somebody I can work with. But if they're just completely bigoted, boneheaded, and hey, I don't let my whole thing, I guess to say is I don't let my political biases or my political views interfere with trying to accomplish something that's going to improve where I am.
And on that note, I've got to end because there's no Nick or Kim to get me to point A to point B on the other shows and everything like that. So I've actually got to end a little bit early on this side, which is what I was trying to get to tell me. But I could hear you talking all the time. I could hear Doc talking all the time as well. But since there's no backup on this side, I've got to end this a little bit early. So I will catch you two gentlemen tomorrow on World Edition.
Bye bye.
See ya.